What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And yeah, here today we have the official data download now here on Global for the brand new Sugo-Fest, the Land of Wano Festival Night Sugo-Fest, the Yukata Sugo-Fest as it's called. We talked about it yesterday. We made a video talking about the brand new Hiyori and the Ulti. If you guys haven't checked it out, definitely go ahead and check out the previous video, give my initial thoughts and impressions on these characters here. But yeah, like honestly, you shouldn't be pulling on this banner. You really shouldn't be. We can have a look at the steps here real quick. You can see that, you know, this is part 1 of the Sugo-Fest, by the way, and it is debuting tomorrow as of the, you know, release of this video. But the first 3 steps are terrible. You get a guaranteed legend on the 4th and then a limited pool on the 8th. You have to go 8 multis deep to get a limited pool legend. And remember that this is part 1, so the 2 debut characters are likely going to have a lower rate to be pulled on part 1, you know, and then you got part 2 specifically if you want to get your hands on Ulti, and then you got part 3 for Hiyori. Now, one thing that's kind of interesting is that there's only one rare recruit in this entire batch, and that character is going to be the young Shinobu character, which actually looks really cool. The artwork-wise looks fantastic. They've done a fantastic job here. Let's have a look at the abilities real quick. So the Shinobu is a Dex Cerebral Shooter, and her captain ability doesn't really matter, but a 12-turn cooldown that reduces threshold by 6 is pretty good, and then also giving a 1.1 chain boost for 1 turn, locks your crew slots for 1 turn after 1 turn has passed. So upon initial activation you get threshold and chain boost, and then you get the clock buff for the ore block in the following turn. And then if your crew's HP is 90% or above when you launch the special, you get a 2 times color affinity boost. Otherwise, it's a 1.75 color affinity, but it's for 2 turns instead. I think she's good because 1.1 chain multiplier boost is nothing to scoff at. It's pretty good. And remember, this is mainly going to be used, I guess, on like a stage 3 of a boss, because you can get the ore block for like stage 4, and then you could use other effects to just really abuse that, right? So I think this ability is fine. I don't think it's completely broken, but I think this is definitely a rare recruit that is going to see some niche usage here and there. I think she's actually not too bad at all. Another really kind of good thing that's interesting is she does have barrier penetration, which is good for a generic rare recruit at least, and then also has hunger removal, so you can never really stress how good that is. Just sometimes you just need stuff like that, and she removes 2 stacks of it at level 4, which is good. And then for her crewmate abilities, if she has a Wano slot and you hit a perfect, she keeps it. So that's obviously really good. And then she also makes Dex and Tandem slots matching for Shooter and Cerebral. Like, overall, it just seems like a really good character. And then you got a support effect, which unfortunately doesn't really provide too much. And then you've got her Rumble abilities, which provides Dex allies with level 3 attack, level 5 speed, and level 3 attack for the first 30 seconds. So level 6 attack for the first 30 seconds. And you get a speed buff and stuff. Like, it seems reasonable, but again, Dex are incredibly strong right now. If you have some of the better Sugo-Fest exclusive characters, this is definitely not a character you're going to use. 33 CT for her special's too high as well. Dex allies get level 3 attack, level 5 speed, and then enemies in a large, or medium range should I say, not even a large range, only a medium range for 1.5 times her attack. So Shinobu in Rumble, not so good, but in regular content, I think that this is a character that's going to see some play. And there's also a free-to-play character coming along with this event, and that's going to be Toki. Now, we thought that Toki was going to be probably a rare recruit as well, but unfortunately that is also not the case. She's going to be free to play, which I guess is good for a lot of other people out there, because Toki is like pretty interesting. And we can see that just with the drops in and of itself, it is going to be one of the turtle farming events. So if you have the new batch, it's going to make it a lot easier to complete the attached Chopper Man missions. I haven't actually had a look at the Chopper Man missions yet, but it looks to be pretty much the same as what we've had over the past couple of events. And you can get legend tickets as well. Now, do remember that the legend tickets here are now going to have the Toby Ropo characters in them. So if you did miss out on getting them, you will have a chance to get them in these legend tickets now, because the Toby Ropo event has now expired. So when this event does drop, you'll be able to get your hands on these legend tickets to get a slight chance at getting those characters. I've also got some level limit break posters, which you cannot stress enough. Those are always going to be very useful to have. So of course we can go ahead and get this Toki character. So what does she actually do? Let's go ahead and have a look. We can't see the information right here, but we can see it in this team comp. So Toki is a Dex Cerebral Free Spirit, so you've got the Shinobu, who is also a Cerebral, and then Hiyori, who's also Cerebral, so all these characters are focused on the Cerebral class in some way. But this character, the captain ability doesn't really matter. But the special ability, 12 turn cooldown, reduces cooldown by 1, reduces 5 turns of attack down, and also gives a 1.75 color affinity. But then if your captain slot is a Wano slot, you get a 2 times attack boost to your whole team for 1 turn. I think this special ability is just okay. Compared to some of the other free-to-play characters that we've had over the past, couple of months. Like, this type of special ability, it is a little bit situational, and in terms of the utility, I mean, you can get around special reverse, which is, I guess, kind of okay, and getting rid of 5 turns of attack down. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be content, especially like the treasure map. Like, there's probably going to be a boss in the treasure map that gives you attack down and maybe special reverse, and having this character is going to basically enable you to beat that boss a lot easier. So we'll have to wait and see how that actually goes along. Also resisting 2 turns of special reverse, which is always good to see. And then also, if you have a Wano slot and you hit a perfect, you keep it for the following turn. So very similar crewmate effect to what we had with the rare recruit Shinobu. And then for her free-to-play potential abilities, she actually has hunger resistance as well. So seeing another free-to-play character with hunger is always good, because hunger is somewhat difficult to get rid of, So seeing another free-to-play character get it is always good. And then unfortunately doesn't really have much of a crewmate ability, or a support ability should I say. And then in Rumble, she's going to provide Dex with level 5 HP and defense, which is not what really Dex really need at this point. 29 CT, teammates for 1200 healing, Dex allies get level 5 defense, and Cerebral get level 3 attack. Level 3 attack for 29 CT is awful. This character is not going to see play in Rumble, unfortunately. Maybe defensively if you need her Rumble ability for something, but her special is trash. So I'm not that excited about the Toki, but I'm sure there's going to be some niche content moving forward throughout the month of August, where Toki is going to be relatively useful for that. So the Sugo-Fest, as we said, is going to be debuting on July 27th, and that is exactly when all of the free-to-play events, well, the free-to-play event with Toki is going to debut as well. And then we've got the 29th is for part 2, and then we have the 31st for part 3. So you have to wait a really long time for the other parts to start up. And of course, if you do want to get them guaranteed, you can go to the 30th multi on each of their given parts on part 2 or part 3 to get either Ulti or Hiyori respectively. And that is an awful decision to do that. I would highly suggest not to do that. That is an awful idea. But, the option is available for those of you who want to, have a chance at getting Hiyori or Ulti, but I just don't think it's a very wise idea. Also, you can see that you've got Sasaki, Black Maria, and Who's Who on each of the 3 parts. So, if there's any of those Toby Ropo characters you want to get, they're going to be on the banner. They're going to have a decent rate at least. So, if you do want to get a chance at them, they're going to be available. But ultimately, we do know that the Film Red celebration is almost here, and I think it would be a very wise decision to conserve Rainbow Gems for Film Red, even though at this point we don't really know what the Film Red Sugo-Fest is going to entail. We don't know if it's a Super Sugo-Fest, we don't know what these characters are going to do, but I think the hype surrounding that event is probably going to carry it, and I think that even if the character ends up being a little bit of a disappointment, people are going to be excited for Uta or Shanks or a new Luffy character that they release for the Film Red celebration. We'll have to wait and see what they do, because at this point we still don't even know what the hell's going on with that celebration, but I'm really excited for it either way. I probably will do a couple of multis just to give you guys a video of doing some pulls on the Sugo-Fest. But ultimately, I'm not really too concerned about, pulling like amazing stuff, because I'm not really going to be going that deep on this banner anyway. I ended up skipping the Toby Ropo banner last month and ended up pulling Who's Who on the Kizuna banner with only a couple of multis on that one. So, even if you do miss some of these, start of month banners or end of month banners, it's not the end of the world, because these types of characters are going to be available on every red ticket moving forward. So, the option is going to be open to you to get them if you get lucky enough. And plus, when Treasure Map rolls around this month, we'll be able to get them via the red tickets on the Treasure Map as well. So, there's plenty of options. You don't need to stress about it. These characters are not ultimately super duper broken, so do not stress too much about that. But that's going to wrap it up for me. Thank you so much for watching, and if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.